Hey guys, Coach Lowe's with ReasonableCoaching.com, and today, my topic today is going to be what's the one trick to build muscle fast? If you had to rely on one thing only, what would that thing be? Obviously, you need to train in order to elicit that response in order to grow. What is that one thing that we need to grow muscle? Protein. Um, Most people, there's a big misconception going around. I don't know, a lot of these new diets, well, not new, but reinvented, like Fit Your Macros, they talk about a calorie is a calorie. Mm, it could be applied that way. It depends on how someone wants to look at it. You still need to have protein in order to turn on that anabolic switch. Basically, every time you eat protein, your body's going to go into that anabolic state or positive nitrogen balance. What does that mean? You're repairing muscle and you're most likely building muscle. There's no fine line between that. You're either anabolic or you're catabolic. So the best way is to make sure that you're turning the switch on as often as you can. Eating protein every 3 hours is the way to go. It's the simplest way to do it, in my opinion. And when you talk about protein, the main thing in these last few years that's been identified is branched chain amino acids, which the three most uh, you know important amino acids to elicit that, and specifically leucine. So you probably heard the term leucine threshold. So you need to be able to have enough leucine in your bloodstream in order to maintain the anabolic switch going. You need to have enough. Leucine is mostly present in all our protein sources: steak, chicken, fish, eggs, and it'll vary by amounts. I know a whole egg has a substantial amount considering it's not that high in calories. And I mean, it's pretty easy. I don't know if you guys can agree with me or not, but it's pretty easy to go into the gym and train for an hour. I'd like to think that most people can do that. Go into the gym, train as hard as you can, give it all you got. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do for the remaining 23 hours? Going into the gym is easy. To train, you will have that pronounced effect. You feel good, the endorphins are high, you get the anabolic response, your hormones, surging, so you feel great. Now the real job comes down to supplying enough amino acids in order for you to recover and grow. So basically, one thing I wanted to point out is all the macronutrients, your protein, carbs, and fats. We need them to perform. So when you start with carbs are your main source of energy. Once they're digested, they turn into glucose. That glucose is going to be used to sustain in certain functions in the body and to give you energy. Glucose per se is not going to build muscle. So, you have to look at it like that. So making sure that you're eating the amount of carbs that you need to perform at your best, and getting enough calories in as well. And fats, they're necessary for hormone production. They're vital for immune system, for skin, hair, nails, as well as protein. But still, it's a very dense macronutrient, giving you 9 calories per gram, but still is not going to, you don't want to neglect them, obviously. But if our main goal is to build muscle, we need to have enough protein. So basically, that's what I want you guys to keep in mind. And how much protein would you really need? How much protein do we need? Again, you have to look, you have to pick the best food based on your current plan or strategy. For example, steak. Steak is very high in protein. It's got a lot of different things: zinc, magnesium, creatine, that will aid in muscle growth. It's an excellent source of protein. But when you look at it, is it a true representation of its macronutrients? Is it mainly protein? Not really. It has a substantial amount of saturated fats, and calories are pretty high. And it's a semi-slow digestion source of protein as well. It takes you about a little bit more energy to break it down. So if you're looking to build muscle, having a few extra meals of steak would definitely help you. But if you're trying to maintain your muscle, you're trying to burn some fat right now, you're trying to bring your calories a little bit down, low carb, steak might not be the best thing. It really depends on a person, how efficient your metabolism is, how old you are, how much muscle mass you have on you. Now, so what is a true representation of its macros as far as protein goes? Chicken, fish, egg whites. They're mainly lean sources of protein. They're low in fat, semi-low in calories. Fish being one of the lowest, in my opinion. And these will be great for someone trying to maintain muscle and burn fat at the same time. So having enough in each meal is going to make a gigantic difference in the amount of muscle you can retain as you dropping down your carbs and get all the cardiovascular exercise in. But as far as the amount of protein that you need, I mean, everybody's seen it in every magazine out there, that 1 gram per pound of body weight. But that you have to really apply this and see what works for you. That 1 gram split into 5 meals usually works pretty well for most people. But in my personal opinion, is the more muscle someone has, the bigger frame that they have, I think they'll probably need a lot more. I've gone as high as 1.5 grams per pound of body weight, and I felt great. Once my carbs are high enough, I usually like to keep it at 1 gram because you are having more saturated fat when you're in the off season trying to gain muscle, and if you combine too many high carbohydrate and high fat meals, it's kind of, you have a tendency of storing, there's too much energy for the body to process at once. So my advice would be to not have too high fat, too high carb meals in the same sitting, and keeping a protein of 1 gram if you're trying to build muscle. So you're kind of spreading the calories between all the macronutrients. Now if you're looking to burn fat, I go as high as 1.5, maybe 2, depending on the person, and the amount of carbs you take in at that point will be up to your own body. Like I said in the past videos, I would start with 100 grams a day, split between 2 meals, go as low as 50, sometimes full keto, which is about less than 30 grams a day. Works very well, and this is, from my opinion, one of the most overlooked aspects of working out. How many people do you know that have been working out? You see them at the gym, they look the same, they haven't changed, they haven't gained any muscle, they haven't changed their body composition in the way that they would like to change. In my opinion, because it's so hard to have these meals ready, to be eating on a nutritional pattern, every 3 hours, despite everything else that you heard online on YouTube, you need to flip the switch on in order to make sure that your body's not breaking down. Hope you enjoyed the video. There'll be plenty more like this. If you need any more tips on training, nutrition, go to reasonablecoaching.com, and I'll see you guys soon.